Welcome to 30 Talk with Chad and friends. Log in each week for topics covering social, economic, and entertainment. It's time to talk 30.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back to 30 Talk. We have not been here for a while. My face is looking all weird with this light. We're gonna work that out though. Welcome back to 30 Talk. We have not been here for a while, but our series on home buying continues. And for those of you that's following on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitch, welcome back. Share the link. That's your admission for the great information that you guys are going to be getting today, is just to share the link. So share this link to somebody else, right? So we're going to continue the home buying series that we've been doing. And my guest today is, I want to say, super knowledgeable, right? She's been here at least, I want to say 3 or 4, maybe 5 times. She's been here about 5 times already, super knowledgeable about any and everything having to do with real estate. You know, she's told you guys, she's brought on other guests before, and we're going to continue to bring on other guests as well. Her name is Vanessa Cannon. She is a licensed real estate broker. So once again, we're not going to have someone here who doesn't know what they're talking about. If you guys have seen her before, she's absolutely great at what she does, very engaging and very knowledgeable about every and anything real estate. So if you guys are looking to do any kind of purchases, if you guys are looking to even just sell your home, this is the person you guys are going to want to get in touch with. So without further ado, I can only talk about her so much. We only have 30 minutes. So I want to bring in Vanessa Cannon. Vanessa, hello.
Hi. How are you?
All right. How was that introduction? Did I kind of capture everything, or?
You did. Beautiful.
I did all right.
You do very well with the introductions.
I did all right. So once again, you're from Blueprint Equities, right?
Blueprint Equities Real Estate, yes.
Blueprint. And so can you just give us a little information about Blueprint Equities before we start?
Okay. So if you are returning, previously I was advertising with Triangle Realty. I have now moved towards opening my own brokerage, which I'm located at 70, East Sunrise Highway in Valley Stream, Suite 500. So I guess I'm moving on up a little bit. So
but that's always good, right? That's always good. That means business is good.
But I also changed my license to a broker license. So I met the requirements. So let's get into that. There's a difference between a broker and an agent, right? Or is there a difference between a broker and an agent? There is a difference. Brokers typically will hold agents' license. And so I have the ability to hold other agents' license where they come into my office and work for me.
Oh, nice. So if I decided to be an agent, if I decided to go through the whole process of learning how to, all the laws and things that I have to do to be an agent, I can actually work for you.
I would say it's you working with me in a partnership because it is an independent agreement. So yes, you can come and I'll give you the skills and knowledge I have to make you a super agent.
Nice. I like that. So what is it? Okay, so let's kind of jump into it, because today, for those of you just logging in, welcome to 30 Talk. Today we're talking about real estate agents. Hello to everybody that's already commenting and stuff like that. Hi Joe, hi Chris. We're talking about real estate and real estate agents, and we're actually going to have a live testimonial from someone, one of your clients, right? That I think you told me.
Yes.
And she's going to share her experience and stuff like that, right?
I wanted to bring someone on, so you can at least hear somebody's experience firsthand. I mean, you can hear me talk about it all day, but it would be great to actually hear from the person and hear their experience. You can kind of decide, it's always good to hear or get references. I always give my new customers references, or I tell them to go look at my Zillow reviews or my Google reviews before deciding to move forward with me.
Right. So before we bring her on, because we're going to bring her on in about a few minutes, right? What does a real estate agent do?
I normally tell my customers, all you have to do after you meet me and decide to work with me is pick your home. I have everything else. You know, it's a one-stop shop. I've been in this business since 2008. I'm very knowledgeable. I'm very savvy. I know all of the tricks of the trade. And, you know, even going to a house and, you know, determining whether or not it has some foundation issues based on the smell in the basement, being able to look at the ceiling to see if, you know, there has been any leaks. So, you know, you want someone who has a little bit of knowledge, you know, across the board. You don't want someone who's just, hey, look at this house, do you like it, and move on. You want someone that's really going to advise you, because it is my profession. It's what I do. You know, if you are, let's say for an example, a nurse, I'm going to come to you if I'm sick or if I need an immunization, because you have that knowledge of, you know, doing that. So, and you want the best person to care for you in that scenario. So it's the same with real estate. You want someone that's very knowledgeable, that you can ask, you know, questions that come up throughout this process.
Shout out to Kimmy. Kimmy said V is amazing. So I guess
Kimmy.
And good night to Roseanne. So I'm looking to purchase a home. Should my first step be to seek out an agent? Or should I maybe wait a little bit? Or, you know,
yes.
Why should I? Let's start there.
Well, you want to sit down and get an understanding of the process. Normally when people come to me, I ask them, have you been pre-qualified? Some people don't know what that is, or they'll say, I have not. So the first thing is, first, I always tell people, you want to know how much you can afford. You don't want to go out and look at a house that could be $700, but then you get a pre-approval and it's only $400. The homes are going to be totally different, and you're going to be a little dissatisfied with what you see because you liked more of the 700 homes that you've seen. So I always talk about, you know, what area are you looking in? What are some of the amenities in the home? The features, what are your must-haves, some of the things that you cannot do, you know, you can do without. And from there, I will connect you to a lender or several lenders so that you can pick and choose the one that you want to work with. Typically, I vet all of my lenders, I vet all of my attorneys. So I have a team, my inspector, my appraiser. If you're selling, all these people have been vetted, and I stick with good people. So I use the same people all the time.
Okay. And so speaking of coming in and sitting down and meeting with you and you're asking the questions, right? One of the great things about today's show is that we're going to actually have a live person here with us who's been through that experience of sitting down, first time meeting, talking to you, what her vibe was with you, and just like the going out process, right? So I'd like for you to kind of introduce who we're bringing on now, and just tell us a little something about her.
I am going to introduce one of my favorite ladies. Her name is Melanie. She just recently bought a beautiful 2-family in the Queens area. Nice. She is a person who was on task. I appreciated that. She asked a lot of great questions, which is very important. If she didn't understand, she always asked. I'm always available to answer any questions. So when she had one, she called, we figured it out. If I didn't know it, I got her the answer. So I would say, let's bring her on.
All right. So here's Melanie. Hi, Melanie.
Hi.
All right. So Melanie, so I want to ask some questions, right?
Sure.
So so when you first got in touch with Vanessa, was it a phone call? Did you go sit with her? Did she come to you? What was that first conversation like, and where did that happen?
Well, I was watching this wonderful podcast called 30 Talk.
Great podcast, I gotta say. Right.
Great. I don't know.
Good host. Good looking host.
Very popular.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was very impressed with the knowledge that Vanessa was and the care that Vanessa was sharing. And so I reached out to her via telephone and asked some preliminary questions. And I remember she said that it's like an interview. And so I had went through a couple of real estate agents before. So I had some questions and she provided the most knowledge and made me feel very comfortable.
So you had an agent before, in a sense, right? Or you were going,
you know, you shop around.
Right.
But
so when after you guys, what were your vibe? What was the vibe that you got from her when you first reached out to her? Like, you know, what did you, when you got off the phone, because you said it was a phone call, right? What was, when you got off the phone, what was that, you know, did you feel like, okay, I think I can work with her? Like, what was that vibe like?
Yeah, well, I felt comfortable. She made me feel very informed. She made me feel like she was very knowledgeable and she was an expert at her game, and
Right.
that I wasn't working under her, but I was working with her. And so I felt like this was going to be a great partnership.
So what did you guys kind of do as, I guess, in your partnership, right? So you were looking, did you have a mindset of what you wanted when you first started looking? And, you know, did you guys kind of sit down? Did you tell her, listen, I want a six bedroom, large, you know, what? So do you remember what that was like when you sat down and told her, this is what I'm looking for? And what was, you know, how was
I'll answer that because I recall Melody, I want to fully renovate it.
Okay.
She at first she definitely wanted Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
But I did. We talked about Queens and some options, and she already had, I believe, some knowledge. Like she said, she had been, you know, interviewing, so she was very on top of her game. So when we met, we actually met at a house. We immediately got to it, and so and started the process right away.
So how was the entire process for you? Was it, because I know some people that they look for a house for like a long time. Like some people are super picky, right? And some people are like, you know, it's not this, I want this, or, you know, I'm not sure. How long, do you remember how long the entire process was for you? And do you remember how many houses did you look at? Because it's very rare that people find like their house in like the first try.
You're right. So I would say that it was a long and short process.
Okay.
Vanessa was very efficient I gave her what I wanted. I did have a blueprint, like she said. I just knew I was Brooklyn Brown.
Okay.
And I knew exactly what I wanted in Brooklyn. And so we took off running. She had a list of suggestions. The process was a little bit longer because as she was showing me the homes in Brooklyn, it didn't really appeal. And she did give me the advice that maybe you want to expand a little bit out. But I was a little bit headstrong at first.
Right.
But after being exposed to some of the price points, the offerings in Brooklyn, the space, I expanded out to Queens. And once I moved out to Queens and Long Island area, things went pretty fast after that.
Right. So you kind of changed your, like, I'm going to be Brooklyn to like, okay, I just want something in like the vision of what I wanted, right? Like to get a little bit.
Erase the tattoo. And
Yeah.
All right.
Like I have Brooklyn for life, turn to a big Q.
Yeah.
All right. So now,
I would like to add something there too. You know, originally what I do is I talk about the expectations because I know people come with expectations in areas that they want. And so I'm very clear at telling people, you may get your money more for your money here versus there. And I still will show them what they came to me. I never want to ignore customers' requests. So we'll still go out and see, but I've probably already told you where the best price, what the best place you're going to get for your money in terms of space. Like Melanie was saying, you're going to get more for your money here versus there. And so it's easier because people who haven't looked for a home, you have these expectations. You're watching HGTV, and it's just not the same here in New York. And I like
DIY. Don't forget DIY.
Yes, I like to be very clear. Like, listen, these are older homes that's just renovated, or you're going to be, are you willing to do work? So I made that very clear so they'll understand. I like to educate in the process, and so there's really no surprises.
So like this person said, you have to manage expectations. That's Definitely. a good statement.
Yes.
So what was
here, and my money maybe wasn't there. I had to
But you got a beautiful home.
So what was the most surprising part of the whole process for you? What was something that you wasn't prepared for? You absolutely didn't know the home buying process, and that your eyes are now open to it. Is there anything that kind of shocked you about the whole process, or you wasn't expecting?
I knew that what the prices of Brooklyn homes were. I did not know what was being offered in Queens and Long Island area. So I was a little bit shocked by what was being asked for in Brooklyn versus what you were being offered in Queens and Long Island areas. Right. So that was an eye opener, which was really good. And as we walked through the properties, Vanissa's knowledge of different things that would, need to be done to the homes. Whereas I was like, great. And she's like, look at that.
Yeah. You walked in, you're like, oh my God, I love this home. And she's like, there's a crack in the foundation right here. Just look right here. Or did you know about boilers? Cause you were right. Little things like that, right?
Little things that made a big difference, because when I was talking about, I wanted little to no renovations. So
right.
And, she'd be like, look at that boiler. And I'm like, it looks nice. And she's like, 1986.
Right.
I was like, oh.
So do you guys remember the months that you guys went out looking? Do you remember the process?
I feel like it during COVID.
Was it in the summer, or was it in the winter?
I mean, you have a video, you can show one, right?
All right. So let me see. Let's get to the video, right? So what is this video that we're going to be looking at?
So we were actually meeting up to look at a property. We kind of went back and forth between a 2-family and a single family. I think towards the end, she kind of finalized that, no, I do want a 2-family, but this is kind of in the middle stages of the search.
Okay, but this is not the house that she bought. This was just one of the houses.
This is not. This is just us. This is a day where we grind out. You can tell she's a serious customer, and I'm out there.
All right, so let's go to the video. Let's see what we got.
Well, I am out here showing homes in the snow. Hey, still trying to get that money. Snow don't stop me. I do need to learn how to work this. Okay. This is my customer here. Ready? Ready? Yes.
Okay.
So, girl, I got the live on. This is the first time I had a live on. So, this is my customer. She's serious.
Mask up.
We out here in the snow looking for homes. So, this is a serious one. All right. She ready. So let's go check out this house.
All right. The funny thing is that he asked, Jamie just pull up this address. He was like, "What about Caney Road?" I said, "That's where I'm at."
So if he is at home and he want to come see that other house, he should come today because you're not gonna have time.
That's what I said.
He got to come today. Is this it?
Oh no, was that
What?
19?
Oh, girl, we breaking into somebody's
Just
house.
putting all my business out there. It's okay. Y'all, you know.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
21. It's this right here.
So, well, I don't think you'll be able to comment. I think I'll be able to comment. What neighborhood was this? Can you type it in? What neighborhood this was?
All right. All right. So let's go in.
Okay, so this was in
How
Rosedale.
has your
Okay.
experience been looking at homes?
It's been up and down, you know.
Okay. All right. So this was your actual heading to a home in Rosedale, right? Anybody? Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a Rosedale home.
Mhm.
Of course, we didn't like that home because it wasn't exactly what we thought it would be. That's
Right.
one thing with pictures. You have to know that sometimes the pictures are not going to look like the actual home. So, and I remember this particular home. This home had a door that looked like a what was it? Was it the front door? I don't know. It was weird. It was just odd. I'm one of those people that I won't just pick out issues. I will pick out how, if I don't like something, I'm going to tell you. If I'm not going to live in the house, I'm definitely not going to try to sell you on it. So I'm not one of those agents that's out here just trying to get commission and say, "Oh, this house is beautiful. Don't
Right.
you like it? Want to put in an offer?" Absolutely not. I want you to be happy. I want to be happy when I come over to the barbecues.
Right.
Listen,
So there's
You don't
things I've seen. There's things I've seen sometimes, right? Like, and you write about this whole picture thing. Like, I've seen really nice angles and stretched. I've seen them. Like, I've seen people do like the stretch pictures, and
Right.
sometimes I can tell that it's stretched, right? But some people are very creative with the photography, and like someone just said it. Somebody said pictures are deceiving on the realtor apps.
Very.
And it's true, because sometimes I've seen pictures. I'm like, oh my God, that bedroom is huge. And then you go in and you're like, oh my God, I can't even get in. And you're squeezing to the side. So it's kind of, you kind of have to be wary. And I think I want to ask this question again. Maybe this is some people's first time kind of seeing it. Let's say she was not able to go to a house.
right.
Would you actually check it out first before maybe in her place, and maybe say, well, yeah, I think you should come and look at this one? Is that something that you would do?
Unfortunately, here in New York, agents don't like to waste time, and no agent's going to show me a house and I don't have my buyer. Simple as that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Now I've had agents come to my open houses, and they did a FaceTime or video, but they end up coming back to see it anyway, because you can't really tell,
Right.
on FaceTime, or like I was saying, the photos,
The smell.
So,
I like
yeah.
I like the smell. Like what is the neighborhood smell like? What does the house smell like? Does it smell like cats? I mean, I could get the cats sent out eventually, but maybe you smell mold. Sometimes you kind of need to.
Nobody
see.
makes an offer blindly. I mean, if you
Right.
do, you're an investor and you don't really care what the house looks like, because your goal is to go in, gut it, and then resell it. So
Someone said thanks for being honest about that, like that about your statement that no agent would let them see the house without the buyer.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So TJ, this is another friend of mine. TJ, she's super honest. Like I said, when you're ready, TJ, this is definitely the person that I want you to get in touch with. Like Melanie said, she was watching 30 Talk, and she was like, you know what? Let me just give it a chance. Let me give it a try. And it turned out great, right?
It did. It landed my end goal. There I go. Yay!
It turned out great. This is you getting your keys.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And that's it.
There you go. Yeah.
That's your home.
Yeah. I think another big difference between her and the other agents was that sometimes it was hard to get in contact with the other agents. I would hear from them one weekend and maybe next 2 weekends I don't hear from them. Very spotty with the communication, but Vanessa was spot on with everything. There wasn't a time where I didn't have a question that, like she said, if she didn't know, she was like, give me a minute, and boom, 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 she's sending me links, and I'm like, dang. So, yeah.
I would like to say to everyone that, this is my profession. So I take it very seriously. I'm a person about integrity and reputation, and I want to have a good reputation. My business depends on referrals and people being happy. And, overall, that's just me at the end of the day. I take anything that I do very seriously and put my pride and all into it. So trust me, if you are working with me, I'm going to give you my all. I'm going to be consistent. And, we're always going to be in communication. You're never going to have to be like, well, I haven't heard from her. That's never the case. I'm always going to be on it with you. Okay.
All right. And Kimmy said, I can attest to all that is being said. She's excellent with communication. So that seems to be like an underlying theme, right? Like in terms of the clients that you interact with and the people that you interact with, you're good with communication. And I think that's something important, especially when you're making like a major life decision in terms of buying a house. You'd like to feel comfortable. You'd like to feel like I can talk to the person. Like I wouldn't buy a car from somebody I can't talk to. So why would I buy a home? Why would I trust the person who's going to get me a home and I can't talk to them and have that kind of open communication back and forth. So what bit of advice would you have, Melanie, for anyone that's kind of out there seeking, other than communication, right? Because we kind of know that's important. But what bit of advice would you give to someone out there that's looking to get an agent, or would just like to get in touch with Vanessa, or just like do you have any like little nuggets that you would tell them? Listen, maybe patience. I don't know. I
think for me, I think the biggest piece of advice I could say is that while you still always have a vision, right? You have to start somewhere. So you need a vision, right? You need to know where you see yourself living and what lifestyle do you want to live? What's your end goal? But also I would say be open to other options, right? Don't be so dead set on one thing. Be open to all possibilities.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much for sharing your experience, and congratulations on your new home. And I hope you're going to be seeing her again soon when you purchase the next home.
Yes.
Because
I encourage people to plan for investment properties. Understand this: your first property may not be your dream property, but think of it as an investment. It is a stepping stone. Even if it's a co-op. People will be like, I don't want a co-op, but you know what? You still get the tax write-off, and you may get to rent that out, or that could be your down payment for your next new home that you want. Real estate is an investment, so trust me. Anything you do will be great.
Before I started the show today, and someone asked me what the show what were some of the things we're going to be talking about. One of the things they asked was does she do stuff upstate, and does she do stuff in New Jersey? I was like, you know what? When I get on the air, I'm going to ask her. I didn't want to put her on the spot on the air, but I know you definitely do stuff in upstate as well, because we had that conversation, I think, on a previous show about you working with other people to kind of do that. Right?
I would have to refer you out. I don't specifically go to Jersey. I am not 100% knowledgeable of the Jersey area, so I would not be able to advise you in buying a home in Jersey itself, because I don't know the area, so I couldn't tell you whether it was
whether this neighborhood is nice, or whether
Right. To kind of guide you in the right direction. Technically, we can't steer because or say a neighborhood is bad, but I myself would personally like to have some type of knowledge so I can tell you things maybe about the school district, or maybe what this community offers that you are looking for in a community.
Right. So speaking of
the furthest I'll go is Yonkers.
So speaking of steering, that's going to be one of the conversations we're going to be having on the next 30 Talk, because we have such a super interesting conversation coming up about I don't know how to kind of label it. I don't want to say bias, or how do we label that one? Like, is it like real estate bias, or
this would be a buyer beware.
Buyer beware. Okay. And let's so a little teaser about that, right? So it's really, can you just give us a little before we leave, right? Just give us a little tidbit kind of about whatever, just a little teaser about what it is, right? Because when I looked at it, like I started watching it and I couldn't stop. I was like, this is, and I was cursing. So I was like, this is crazy. I was like, this crap is crazy.
It is a continuation of choosing the right agent and understanding what people's mindsets are. You know, gotcha. This is an era where we have Black Lives Matter. These things that we deal with, trust me, we're dealing with it in real estate also. And so I felt it was an important piece if you had not seen it, to show, especially, you know, people, new buyers, whether you are Black, African American, Hispanic, whatever the case may be, Asian. I want you to see this because it is very key. It will help you in spotting what's right and what's wrong. And we can talk through the video, but I think it's going to be a good eye opener.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to chop that video up in a lot of different pieces, because it really bothered me watching it. I didn't really, you know, and just to kind of really top it off, so we could kind of end today's conversation. I'm not a biased person, but I would like to say I would like for us to spend our money among us, and I'll just keep it like that, right? We should. I already said that this program, whether you guys agree with it or not, I gear it towards Black and Caribbean and immigrant and just Black people in general, right? This is who I gear
brown.
Black and brown, right? Black and brown, but I gear it towards minorities. This is what this program is geared towards, because we've been taken advantage of. We've been, you know, we get the short end of the stick, and I'm not going to say the S word I was going to say, but we get the short end of the stick a lot. So I'd like to put good information out there so that we can kind of walk away with some kind of knowledge and not be taken advantage of, so we can become a bigger portion of the home buying market, right? We can become the landlords. We could become the people that have properties and rent out the Airbnbs, not just the ones renting. So that's kind of what this is about, and so we're not really taking advantage of. So that next piece is it's going to upset a lot of people. So hopefully you guys tune in next week for 30 Talk.
It may be an hour talk on that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, that one is going to be a little longer, because it's so serious. It's deep. Important. It's deep. So I know I would like Melanie to come back for that, because I know Melanie is going to be Melanie's going to have a few things to talk about that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have, and I think we're gonna have another. I'm
gonna have another customer come on and discuss their experience. We're just working with their schedules, but yes, I have video and pictures and inspections, all that. So
yeah, so we're gonna have more of that stuff. People, and I know I know they say it's a seller's market right now, but people, listen, if you're out there in the market to buy a home. Right, owning property can never get old, right? Like this is my brother here. He says in real estate you can't have too much property, right? And he's right. So shout out to my brother in all the way down in St. Kitts. Big up. Speaking of property, I'm going to call you about our dad in a second. All right, so everybody, please have a great day. I want to say thank you to Vanessa Cannon. Once again, she's our guru, our real estate broker. If you guys want to get in touch with her phone number is 347-674-8606. 866. That number once again. Matter of fact, I think let me just put it up. Oh, can't put it up. Where is it? I messed it up. There we go. Our number once again, 347-674-8606. 347-674-8606. Reach out to her, whether you're buying, whether you're selling, right? Because like Kimmy said, she's great with communication. So she said, V, we're gonna talk.
And if you feel that you're not in a position, but you just want to start on the path of what do I need to do to eventually get there, still call me, because I can get you set up with what you need to do in terms of what you need to save, how much you need to be making, would you need a co-signer? So you want to know these things. You don't want to go into anything blindly. So it may not be this year that you're buying, but we can start working towards next year.
Right. And absolutely, if you guys just need more information, always go back and look at the previous 30 Talks. Just put in 30 Talks in Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Put it in either of those, and some of the old shows will come up and tell you, how much you need for your down payment. We gave a great example one time of one of the houses out there in Long Island. So look it up. Thank you once again, Vanessa. Thank you very much, Melanie, and congratulations. Melanie. We can't wait till you start having barbecues and stuff, because we're going to be out there chilling. All right. So
I don't eat meat. So we need.
Oh, well, she can barbecue up some broccoli and stuff, and some meat
eaters.
Oh, corn. You could do some corn. You could roast corn. There you go. All right. So thank you guys so much. We're gonna see you guys next Tuesday.
Thank you. Take care.